It's 5:30 a.m. on Saturday. We are at a CBA event in El Campo, Texas at the Lost Lagoon. Let's see how we can do today. All right, so we're gonna start seasoning our brisket this morning. 5:45 now. I've already, you can see it here, there's already that base from the night before. So now, I'm going over top with some Southern Belle. Now we're gonna go over top with Southern Hospitality. Now we're gonna go ahead and let the seasoning adhere to the brisket a little bit, pull some of that moisture out, and once we get a little bit of tackiness on there, we'll go over top with some 16 mesh black pepper. We'll bring it back when we do that. Now on our point, we're gonna go over top with some Southern Belle. If you look at the shape of this, it's absolutely weird. When I was trimming it the other day and I started getting it out of the brisket, I noticed that it was just a weird shape, but I could kind of tell something was gonna be weird because when I was actually trimming the flat up top, I noticed that it was a little bit extended, like it was a little bit more, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it didn't look like a normal flat. It looked like a good flat, but it didn't look normal. So that's just something that I noticed the other day. The reason I'm not going with that base on this is because I do not want this to be too salty. Then over top with Hospitality. Now it's about 5 minutes before we're gonna put this brisket on the pit, and you can see that it's pulled a lot of moisture out. That seasoning sitting on top pulled that moisture out. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead over top with some black pepper. There is black pepper in Southern Belle, but don't forget we grinded Southern Belle. So I'm just gonna come over with a little bit. It doesn't have to be a heavy layer. We just want that black pepper pop on top. I'm gonna go ahead and put the flat down first. I'm gonna put it on the opposite side of this water pan. I do want this to start over the direct heat. We'll put the burnt ends right on the opposite side. 6:30 a.m. We're gonna go ahead and start our rib drum now. And so far you guys can see that we're kind of doing everything on a timeline. If I had one suggestion myself, it would be definitely have a timeline of what you're gonna do at a barbecue competition, when you're gonna start the drums, when you're gonna season stuff. It just really helps put everything into a nice schedule, and hopefully it helps make everything go a little bit easier for you. Now it's right at 6:30. We're gonna go ahead and season up our ribs. You can see the same thing as the brisket. That base sat on these ribs overnight. So now I'm gonna go over with some Southern Belle. And our main layer here is gonna be Southern Hospitality. So we want that nice red color. We want that good sweet rib. Not too sweet, we definitely want it a little savory, but this is gonna be where we're gonna get a lot of that good color from. And speaking of color, we're really focusing on that this weekend. Last competition, I feel like we just let it get out of hand. The ribs got a little bit too dark, darker than I wanted, and we just really want to focus on that this week. So that's gonna be something you're gonna notice that I'm gonna talk about throughout the video. I want this color to be perfect. Well, as perfect as it can be, right? Things can always happen, but I do want to focus on the nice color of these ribs today. So I actually want to season the other side of these ribs right now. So I'm going to add a little bit of moisture to the back side of these ribs. That way I don't lose my rub that I just put on there. That moisture, this avocado oil doesn't have much of a flavor at all, so I'm not too worried about it. You notice when I flip the ribs over, you're not going to see rub going everywhere. So check one more time. Boom. You're not seeing rub go everywhere. It's because I added that moisture, that avocado oil, and it's helping seal in all that seasoning. So just a little tip for you guys, if you guys are ever interested in doing something like that, it's a really good tip. It works perfectly, and it's just something that I've been doing here a little bit, because what I like to do is I like to get the seasoning on the ribs as fast as possible. And I notice if I let the seasoning adhere to the back side of the meat, and then I flip over to the front side after, 15, 20, 30 minutes. I mean, that's 30 minutes I lost of having seasonings on these ribs, pulling moisture out, and all of that really helps the rib and your cook. So again, we're going over top with Southern Belle, and our main layer is Southern Hospitality. If you guys didn't catch it a minute ago, that base was on these ribs all night. It's kind of like a dry brine. Southern Hospitality is going to give that nice color. So now on the top side, we can let all of these seasonings pull the moisture out naturally. We don't need any avocado oil. Now we're going to season pork. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up some of the seasoning off of my board, just so it's not going to waste. There's my alarm to season pork. I was ahead. Just a few seconds. But I just don't want this seasoning to go to waste, so I'm just going to use it real fast. Just like the other two meats, this has already been seasoned with that base, so I don't need to put any of that base on here. Over top here with Southern Belle, Hospitality. Now, you might be thinking like, man, that's the same exact seasonings over and over and over. And it is, right? But we finish differently on all of these. So we can manipulate that flavor a lot in the end. So our seasonings are going to bring great color, and they are going to they're going to bring great flavor, 100%. But in the end, when we need to manipulate and change this flavor, we can absolutely do that. We have our hospitality that we use a lot when it comes to our finishing powder, and that really, really, really kicks everything up a notch. I haven't really talked about that too much, but as we keep doing more and more competition videos, I'll keep revealing more and more to you guys. But that is something that we do. We use our hospitality a little bit in the end. And of course, that's one of our little tricks to get that pop of flavor. And it is a pop of flavor. If you guys have ever had hospitality, it is truly delicious. It is just like hospitality, but it's got a little bit extra cayenne in there. It's going to give you that heat. But it's a delicious heat. So it's something that we use to our advantage. Boom. There's our 3 monies. With these, I found that when you season it, then you got to pick it up. You're going to lose a little bit of seasoning right before you put it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reapply once I get it in the smoker if I need to. I'm going to start injecting my wings. Right now, probably going to do like 2-3 pumps max. I just want to feel it. Make sure that there's plenty of injection going in there. It's 8:54 and it is time to wrap our ribs. We pulled them a little bit earlier than we normally do, but again, we're trying to focus on the color of these ribs. So, sugar in the raw. Also got some rib wrap here. So I'm going to do something a little different here. I never put a water pan in. Okay, let's go ahead and add one now. Can you grab a pan? Right in the middle. Okay. All right, 5 minutes until I need to put this chicken on. We're seasoning it up real quick. Already got the bottom side. Going over top with Southern Hospitality. And then we're gonna go over top with the wrong pepper, with 32 mesh pepper. Blends in really well with the chicken, my opinion. All right, let's go ahead and take it and put it on the drum. Time to wrap pork. Sugar in the raw. Loose Hog Original. Gonna come over top with Southern Hospitality. A little kick of flavor. My full is hard today. Got my monies here. Same exact thing. You guys know I'm weird. Loose Hog has to go on the butter. Then it can go on everything else. Right now we're around 180 degrees. I told you guys in the last video, it wasn't a comp video, but I told you guys that typically this will go backwards a little bit when you put it into a wrap with liquid. So I expect it to go backwards just a little bit, and then we're gonna start bumping back up. And we wanna get to 200 degrees. I have it set to 205, but I want it at 200. Then I'm gonna start feeling and seeing what it feels like. We're gonna go ahead and check ribs real quick. Just see where we're at. Thermopins right here. They're not done. I could just tell they're not done. Yeah, they look beautiful. That's what I wanted to focus on today. I will check the others real fast. The bones are blown out a little bit there. Yeah, those are done. So we're gonna take one rack out just because it is done right now. It's 12:15. We just turned chicken in. We gave them some thighs and some wings again. I thought they tasted really good, but last time I also thought that we'd ended up not doing that great. But today I'm pretty confident. I felt great about the cook. I felt like we were on point with what we wanted to do. Last time we kind of had some mishaps here and there, but today it did feel good. So let's go ahead and turn around. Now we're gonna start working on ribs right now. 12:15, we're starting to work on ribs. Let's see if we can't get a nice rack in there. We're gonna try and put 10 in the box. That's what we typically try and do at CBA. Au jus from the inside of the ribs, right over top. I'm not actually touching the ribs themselves. We'll keep this as hot as we can, just in case we need to apply some in the end. Again, we're just gonna taste everything, kind of see how it's tasting right there. See what adjustments we need to make. So these are gonna go in the back, right?
Right.
20 minutes. We just turned in ribs and we thought that the box looked really good. Everything tasted really good. I'm excited to see how we do today. I feel like our ribs have been tasting pretty much the same all throughout the season, but today especially, I think we nailed the tenderness, which I'm really happy about. It's right at 2 o'clock. We just turned in our pork. We turned in Money's and we turned in a little bit of that pulled, just the same exact box as last time. We felt like we needed to make some changes right there in the end, add a little more savory to it. So we made some adjustments and we really do like the way our pork turned out today. Let's see what the judges thought.
Tenth place chicken. Fifth place chicken. First place chicken. All right, sixth place rib. First place rib. Moving on to pork. Fifth place pork. First place pork. The brisket. 10th place. 9th place brisket. What we've all been waiting for. First place brisket.